Have you guys experienced a shift in your marriage after kiddos? I was eating, breathing, sleeping, kids. I can't remember the last time I specifically made a special meal for my spouse.
I've had 4 children in 5 years, and he was telling me, "You've pushed me." And it was true because I did. And he started even telling his friends, "My wife has changed and it's a bit scary."
I need to be an intentional wife.
Men have been neglected.
Yes.
The truth be told. Yeah.
There are a lot of marriages that are just breaking.
Yeah. Some of us, our spouses are in ministry that also takes away time.
And you don't want to be in a place where you're just tolerating each other. Take time to really pursue each other.
I describe my spouse as a piece of pizza. I want to have the last bit of him.
You just don't want to be married just for the sake of being married. You want to enjoy. You want to burn his passion. I want to be seeing him over there and be like,
I looked at my husband like, by the way, you just not watch anime.
She got the light in her life. Her love never fails. She lives to walk right. And through her trials, so much grace. So much grace. So much grace. So much grace.
Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of the Mothers by Grace. We are a podcast for moms who need a lot of support and even more grace. And with that being said, we have noticed that many of you who are not moms and still take the time to watch us and comment and share. We see you and we appreciate you. But without much, as I'm going to introduce myself and my host, and we have a special guest. And I cannot wait for you guys to see who this is. But I am Charlene.
I am Kadzo.
And my name is Rachel.
And our special lovely guest, who is a mom, a content creator, loves Jesus, a wife, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the wisdom that she carries. And over to you, Julie. Do you mind introducing yourself to us?
Hi! I'm so excited to be here. My name is Julie Kariuki, content creator, a wife to amazing man. Married close to 10 years now. With 4 children, but I live with 3 amazing boys and my daughter who's in heaven, and I love it. I absolutely love being a mom. It's just, I felt like I came into my fullness when I became a mom.
It's funny how that happens, because it's like you see aspects of yourself that you either, they were obviously there but didn't really shed light. There's a flight. Anyway, so I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
And today we usually have a question of the day.
Okay.
So this is an interesting one that my husband asked me, Kitambo, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm going to ask you guys, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
First of all, I feel like it's very unfair because you've probably thought about it for all
I have.
So now you have an answer.
You can bring the math in my mind.
Thank you.
Hands for feet or feet for hands?
That's weird.
It is.
I think I'd say hands for feet. I think because I think we associate hands with love and touch and all that. Like, you don't think of your feet as like you can show love. I don't think we show love with our feet. I don't know, but I think I'd say hands because of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Me too. Hands are very important. Everything, cooking, just everything. Movement, you can move.
Yeah, that's
somehow.
Me too. I don't know. I don't think I'd want feet for hands because I can't,
And you can't
because of
even touch your
eating
kid or something.
everything. Like even because of what I do, I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to ice a cake with my feet.
But people do. No, people do.
Actually, that's true. That's actually true. That's
Cakes.
Yeah.
I know cooking and everything, but because of that, I don't know.
No, the guys do all
in this case scenario with this hypothetical question, I understand. But I know there are people who definitely are not capable of using their hands and they therefore use their feet. So, but also, I would probably say hands for feet.
Is that what you said the first time? Give us to
No, I think I go back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
That's what in my head I'm thinking.
Why would you get feet for hands?
Feet are weird. I don't know.
But
I
they're
don't
stable.
Just a way.
She was stable feet, right?
Yeah.
So
It's true.
You know, feet is just so cochini, so legs you still have them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, that's a hard one. That's a hard
Anyway, moving on today's topic, rekindling your love even in parenting. This is a topic that I'm just like, oh Lord. What do you have? Just let me make it personal. Have you guys experienced a shift in your marriage after kiddos? Has there been a shift of any kind? I know this is very wide. Like it obviously covers like the sex aspect. It covers the, intimacy in terms of communication aspect. So financial aspect. So feel free to take on one of those or two of those.
I think for me, I'd say, of course, like it's of course. It's not even like a question for have. I think it's like my marriage plus parenting, like it's such a big thing, like you have, this was you before, they're just the two of you doing life, just the two of you. Then all of a sudden someone comes in, you have to figure out your time, your schedules and all that. Like you can't go like, we were joking with my husband the other day, like I think we were out like until like 10 or something. And I can't remember the last time we did that, So those are things you're like, I wish, like you. There's an aspect like I miss before the kids, like spending, like you don't have to think of, oh my God, there's a schedule. There's this person that needs to sleep. I need to go home. I need to see my kids so that they don't sleep without me. Like there's so many facets that change, and it's true. Yeah, like I agree with everything. Like for us, emotionally, really, really, really changed, because especially the first few months of postpartum, like you're really
postpartum
stressed. Like you're stressed. You're just like me. I think I used to cry all the time. Like I'm just crying. I'm like, this thing is not working. You don't know how to breastfeed, and then you also have to take care of also your husband. Like there's so many things that it's true. Like it does really change. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, you can imagine I've had 4 children in 5 years. So the first, we were working very hard. So when I was 3 years in marriage is when now we got our firstborn, and we had been trying for about a year. So even the trying bit tests your marriage, because you're there waiting and telling your husband. I was calling him from work lunchtime. Kuja, come, let's, So now the kids are here, and all my attention has gone to my children. And it's not because I hate this man. It's just because these guys really need me. And you're an adult, right? Like, so you're telling my hubby, you can take care of yourself, right? So it was just that huge shift. And slowly by slowly, he told me the house became, because now I have 2 nannies, children, like it just became a place that was just, didn't need him. And now we've been very, very intentional this year, particularly on just now. We actually, you're a very important person in this family. I never want you to feel left out. We are so deliberate about taking time away. But just, it does change. I remember before I got married, the time randomly on my birthday, that morning my husband was like, let's go to Nanyuki. And I was like, I'm not a spontaneous person, but because we didn't have anything holding us back, I was like, let's go. When you drove to Nanyuki, we didn't even know where we were going. We were not booked in hotels. So we went to Tafaria, spent the night there, drove around. Now you cannot pull that on. Because I have to think about everyone, and all my children's needs are very different. I have one who's super clean, who needs mommy, who needs to be hugged and loved on. I have another one who's quite independent, but also has, because he's still small, he needs some particular care. I have another one who's very so he needs someone with a very keen eye. So every time I have to travel, I have to bring like 3 people.
Wow.
To take care of my children, so that I'm have peace in my head. Because if I don't have it, I want to be present where we are with my hubby. So it has changed. Like it's no longer So every time you can't, spontaneity left the chat. It's true. It cannot happen. We have to plan. Even just a date night, it has to be planned. So everything changed.
Everything does change. Is that the case for you?
Yeah, for me it changed also because and the first year of of my son's life was very demanding because he was a preemie. Preemie is he was born at 32.
32.
Okay. 32 small.
So it was just a lot. Coming home, and I remember when he came home and the first thing that happened, his nose was congested. I'm like, is it going to be fine? God, he's dying. I'm texting the pediatrician, and then he got a rash, and then it was just a lot. So now fast forward to the toddler years, he's even more demanding than he was then because one, I feel like he's a very adventure-seeking type of kid. So if you saw this, he'd climb and try and jump. So I was like that. And then he's also very super clingy in a way. Mostly towards me compared to his dad, because I think he thinks I'm his playmate. So if he's playing, like both of us can be in the house. And then he'd be like, I'd be let in the bedroom and he's in the sitting room with the dad. I'll just see someone, Mommy, come, we go sitting. I'm like, Mommy's resting. No, Daddy resting. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Mommy's tired.
No,
No,
Mommy can't.
Daddy's tired. I'm like, okay, go, I'm coming. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay. 1 minute later, Mommy, we go and we have to go play. So I think it did change because of that aspect where he's really demanding. I realized if I don't spend enough time with him, he's going to wake up at night like 5 million times or sometimes it's like he'll have bad dreams. So he'd be crying. So I think he also his emotions are really huge. And because sometimes he doesn't, he doesn't talk about his emotions. Sometimes he will, and he still doesn't know. But because of what he's feeling, if you don't help him manage what he's feeling, it will shift to the nighttime routine. So yeah, that changed. I think mostly I'd say my time. And because of my time, I'd say my emotional state changed. And then, which also now led to how physically my body was feeling. Because if this one is also his love language is touch. His dad's love language is touch. So by the time my husband comes home, he's like, babe, I'm like, dude, I'm touched out. You can have my finger, but that's it. That's why I say, so I did come, I'm like, hi. I disappear. So I don't know. I can say that's what has changed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to manage it. There are good days and there are bad days. Like, I think, obviously, you don't do anything spontaneous because we have one child who's just everything just revolves there. But the other day, and he's like, oh, you know what? After he goes to bed, we should go for a drive. I was like, yeah. After I went to bed, I was like, I'm sleeping all night. Yeah, I'm so tired. And for sure, I was in bed 5 minutes. I blacked out, and I take 1 to 2 hours to sleep. So yeah.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So for in that instance where your husband needed you for a drive, and like, what's the balance so that he doesn't end up feeling neglected or not seen?
Yeah.
Because I also think it's so important for us to listen. Okay, there's a baby here, but also this guy has his own needs. He needs me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who can satisfy this need.
Yeah. So now for that one, like what we had agreed was, because that was that. So we said Saturday we'll do something. Because I was like, yeah. And he looked at me, he's like, you're also just looking like you're going to eat everyone in this house.
Because
yeah. So we try and so that's what we've been trying. I've been trying to balance it out. Now I can say the good thing, my son started play group.
Awesome.
So he has those 3 hours. So by the time he's going to school, comes back home tired, blacked out, wake up, play.
Yeah.
And then by the time Eddie comes, most of the times I'm not as touched out. So we can sit, we can talk, we can touch. And just, I've found it easier to, even if I'm feeling like I'm almost at E, to just sacrifice, like, okay, let me just spend this time with this hobby of mine. And yeah.
Wow. That reminds me of how, like, I'm trying to remember, like, my husband and I's life before kids. We just traveled. Like, we traveled the world. We ate so much food, met so many people. And then the kids, and now even myself, I desire stability. I'm like, I do not want to go anywhere if I'm not required to. Because then in my head, I'm thinking planning for the kids. Like if both of us are, which has never happened, like both of us actually have left to travel, and then like that's never happened unless it's actually never happened. And I don't even see it happening anytime soon, to be honest. But it's one of those things, it's like, now that we're having this conversation, I realize how much I really miss that dynamic of just being like, let's just go. Let's just go meet so and so. But now, if I think about all the things I have to do to just leave the house, I'm already overwhelmed. And I'm just like, will the girls be okay? Will they be taken care of? Like, I'm like, I go to almost anxiety, mom. Almost like, and then I have to have this internal battle within myself. I'm like, okay, Lord, I trust you, but like, do I have to go? Can I just stay home, type of thing. But it's one of those things where I realized that my husband and I, we used to spend so much time together. A lot of time together, and we enjoyed it. And not that we don't anymore, it's just obviously kids' dynamics have changed. Now it's they go to playgroup, they come home and they have their demands. My husband comes back from work, he's tired, he wants to rest. So I think one of the ways that works for us right now, at least with me, my husband's love language is acts of service. So if he's cooking, I can at least help him cut onions, and the kids are just doing their thing. But it's one of those things where it's like, for us, I think we're still finding that like little things that we can do that don't necessarily require either going out. Like what we can do in the house, even though the kids are in the house. Like, is that a possibility of like still rekindling your love in little ways that don't necessarily require leaving the house or spending money or doing the things that we used to do? So we're still figuring that out.
One thing that has really worked for me, for us, because this year 2023 we have been super deliberate. And remember, I had a newborn at the beginning of this year, and with a newborn you'd think it would be the other extreme for bro, like just sort yourself until But I was just like, no, my marriage is not going to be okay. You've got to do what you were doing, because I had a very tough pregnancy, and I was a very angry, hormonal person. So the whole pregnancy, my husband was afraid of me.
He was just
like, I'm gonna eat it. Cake. So after the babies, when I was like, hi, and I would be like, hi, so the hormones have settled. And now one of the things that has worked is routine with the children. Especially when you have one child, sometimes you feel like, I feel when I had an only child, one child, I was, we didn't have a routine. We used to flow. Like, we sleep at 2 a.m., wake up, whatever. and that was dangerous. What works right now is routine. My kids are asleep by 7:30 every day of the week, except just very few occasions. So after they've gone to sleep, the house changes. We dim the lights, play music. We even sometimes cook all over again. Dinner was ready at 6. But Habi will be like, I feel like let's do chicken or something.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So we have to cook again. You know, my kids wake up and they find takeout in the trash or something in the kitchen. You guys had pizza! So we break together, and so it's become a whole different world. And you know, we used to visit one of our friends, and they used to do that, and I used to think they're so mean to their kids. How dare they? Like they send their kids away so that now I just want to hug them and tell them, you guys are so wise, you know, and learn that from them, because now we have adult time. So before they sleep, they've cleaned up so the house doesn't have toys all over. Adult time, we watch our shows, or if it's not a show, we just talk. Sometimes we're just there exchanging memes and reels and funny TikTok videos. You know, but it's just adult time. And then when you you wake up again, it's the children. But that one has just made the whole difference. Sometimes even because it's a nanny, we leave.
Yeah.
We do most times. Even just driving to the petrol station, grabbing something, then coming back, or just taking a walk in the estate. Those are so important in keeping the marriage alive.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a place where you're just tolerating each other.
Yes.
Where you're like, okay, my wife has become a mom. This is the life now. This is the new normal. No, I think you need to take time to really pursue each other, love on each other. That passion that you had in the first days of your meeting and your marriage, it should be also even all these children later. That's what will keep you alive. Otherwise, you'll be running on fumes, and before you know it, the marriage will just be like,
the kids have left the house and now you're strangers.
Just look at each other as strangers.
I think what I like, and I like that you've said is, like, I'm hearing intentionality.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's intentionality not just from one partner. It has to be from both, you know? Because I think there are couples that don't survive this stage of parenting. There are couples that don't survive it. And it's because of that. Like, me, I'm here, you're there, you know? Like, there's no intentionality. And it takes a lot of humility to actually come and say that I actually need to focus on this part of my life, this part of my life. And it's interesting because just when you guys were talking, I was thinking also of another aspect. Like, you have your career, then some of us, our spouses are in ministry. That's also another thing that also takes away time. So you're wondering, there's this, and it's true, you have to prioritize, God's kazi ya Mungu ni priority, but also marriage yako it's also a priority. So it's true, like, it has to take a lot of intentionality for me and my spouse to actually come and say we actually need to spend time together. And I think the same for us, because we had like this year is when I think we've also, because I also had a baby this year. This is the year where we actually decided to be intentional about it. Because I think last year we were like, okay, we'll watch a show or something, but it wasn't intentionally saying that I'm actually spending time with you. I actually want to, you know, like those 2 random drives at night, we've actually done them this year, and they make a whole lot of difference. They really do. Yeah.
And I think one of the aspects about parenting, it's not just the mother who's changing.
Yes.
It's also the dad. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes that plays a role with trying to find their place as a husband and as a father. So, and I'm not saying that they would have lost it and now they're trying to find it, but I think I know you mentioned it slightly, Julie, where it's like I guess with my partner specifically, where it's like I was so drowned in being a mom and making sure I'm a great mom that I completely forgot I am an individual, first of all. My identity is in Christ, you know, and then there's my spouse, my ride or die. And then now, with me, what I ended up doing I think it was maybe 2 years ago, last year or something, I don't know. But it's like I was eating, breathing, sleeping, kids. Wake up in the middle of the night because I had a nightmare about my kids. And it's like the cycle continues over and over and over and over. Then you slowly realize, oh, wait. I can't remember the last time I specifically made a special meal for my spouse. I can't remember the last time I just randomly called him or texted him and said, babe, I just love you so much. You know, one of those things. And it just really, hearing you, Ashu, talk, it just really reminds me that we change, but they change too. But there needs to be someone who, in one way or another, brings each other back. And I feel like, mkikalia hiyo story ati umenyamaziana, like itafika point where you're just like, by the way, again, who are we? Our kids have left.
Even sometimes you won't even get to when the kids have left. You might have to break, like even at 8 years or 9 years. It's just those things for how do I love on this guy? And so because we're in a Christian, we can talk about this. I feel like the world pushes us to, this is your season now as a woman, right? So you've had your children, you know, immerse yourself, and we should by all means immerse ourselves into this new life. and this identity thing. But once you're in this covenant of marriage, it has to take intention.
Oh, yes.
It has to take intention. Everything in you should be like the as much as I want my kids to thrive, I also want my marriage to thrive. I also want my man to thrive in every aspect. And in this way, if he needs me, pull him in. For me, what happened because of my tough pregnancy and tough delivery, resentment had already crept in. Where I feel like, why am I the one throwing up? Why am I the one adding weight? Why am I the one darkening? And even this pregnancy was tough. My nose was up to here. And it was so bad. And I'm looking at Mr. Man looking nice, and the house shiny, smelling nice.
They're going to the gym, they're working out.
I'm saying things to where I'm like, bro, like you put me in this place.
Of course,
and this is an oops baby. A baby who didn't even follow protocol. Like, so I was feeling so angry. That's why I was very mad during the pregnancy. And I really was just so angry, so upset the whole time. And now the baby once was here, I think everything in me settled, and you look at that little face, you fall in love so much. And I was like, we have to work on this. And we had that really tough conversation. It was full of tears and all that. But we had to have that conversation for, I think you've left me behind. Now me telling him, and he was telling me, you've pushed me. And it was true, because I did. I know it's for, we are fast lovers, and our family will thrive when they see us in love and spending time together and laughing together. And it became super intentional. So much changes, because once you have a newborn, you're sitting on the back seat, right? So even when you're going to places, you're at the back. Everything changes. Like even, the way we dress, there's a way I used to dress and my husband would be so excited. But now I can't dress like that because I'm breastfeeding. There are all these people trying to
There's nothing as stressful as clothes to breastfeed.
No, and you try to dress, but you end up just feeling like, and you can't say anything because the season you're in, and there are all these bodily fluids. It's not cute. It's not pretty. And even there's a time the Holy Spirit convicted me, like, Julie, these clothes you're wearing to sleep. What are these you're wearing? And I was just like, let me just look for the most shorty you don't dress those things. But it's just, what are you wearing to bed? Like, girl, like, And I was just like, oh my God, okay, let me try find. Not lingerie, because I need to be comfortable, but just something cute and nice. And I saw one day my husband looking, okay, you're looking cute. And I'm like, and you just feel him coming here. So it's just intentionality we're talking about. It's not you bending backwards or doing, but just little things that will make you, like, I thought about you, and I thought, when I bought this this piece of outfit, I thought about you, that one for making meals. My husband has just mentioned it when he was driving me here, and he was like, when was the last time? And I was like, where? Because we have a nanny who cooks really well. So, so I was just like, we are eating, but now he enjoyed seeing me there. Because sometimes it's not even the meals, just looking at me there, and the concern and all that. So we have to be super intentional about that. I'm not telling us to obsess about our husbands, but I also feel like these men have been neglected.
Yes,
the truth be told.
I like that you said that, because we're having this conversation with my husband, and I was telling him what's breaking my heart right now is there are a lot of marriages that are just breaking.
That's true.
And or just they are barely surviving, especially as believers. And I'm like, we're good at praying, we're good at fasting, we're good at all these things, but we're really losing living life together. And we were having this conversation last week, because we started our son last week, Shule. And that whole week, he was home. So we spent a lot of time together. And I was like, you know what? I just realized I think I like you. Because in my head, I'd forgotten that I like this person. Because sometimes you're just, I don't know. You're fighting like, why did you leave socks there? Why did you? It's a small thing, and just spending that time, you realize, oh wait, I actually do like you, and there are things about you that I liked, and I'm like, I'd forgotten that because we've been so caught in doing life, you come tired, what. And I just sat with myself. I'm like, I need to be an intentional wife. And even so, I need to go back, because what I used to do is sometimes when he'd go to work in the morning, initially I used to wake up and make him breakfast, all those nice things that I don't do anymore. I'm like, he's like, you're going to work, okay. I know. So I was like, because I didn't do that, what I'd do is I'd go on Uber and order food to be dropped at his office. And I've done that a number of times. And I realized the days that I've done that, he'd come home so happy. He'd say, oh, babe, you remembered me. And you know he's feeling nice by there. It's like, babe, so nice telling babe, the king that is reigning in your heart is refusing to say thank you. The king. And so I think it's just intentional in the intentionality in just the thought behind something. And for us, what we started doing is he likes puzzles. Me, not so much, because most of the time
those things frustrate me.
Yeah.
Me,
I can't say like one piece that does it.
I take puzzles for fun.
No.
He does them for fun. So one day I just went and I was just trying to find pieces, and then now he gets competitive. I'm like, why are you competing? You and I are trying to complete the puzzle before me. But just spending that time together, I realized made a huge difference, even in our prayer altar, because then there's also that.
I was actually going to mention that.
Because it was like, we'd pray this month well, next month not so well. And then so we just said, let's put a date. If you pray for 5 minutes, 10, 30, 1 hour, let's just do it. And sometimes, because now my son is in bed by 7:30, 7:38, just depending on how many times he'll ask for water to go potty. So 7:30, he's supposed to be in bed. If he sleeps early, we get good time, because after 9. So that time, I'm like, oh, you want to do a puzzle? We'll do a puzzle. Oh, we used to play Monopoly, but that one is not.
Monopoly is not advised for couples.
It's not for couples or friends. So just finding that time. We got a coloring book, which we were to color together. We still haven't started. But just trying to find that new balance. Because my husband did mention something that you had said, how he felt like the house is really loud. And he's an extrovert sanguine. But because of my son and then our nanny, she's soft, but sometimes she can be loud. And I think I've just been asking myself, how do I mute everything down for him so that he also feels like this is his home? So I don't know, I'm still figuring that out.
There's a time we moved house because of our marriage. And the whole nanny dynamic, we had to find a house that now her SQ was a bit far. So people sacrifice for these marriages to work. You know, people keep saying, this guy is not married. People make sacrifices. Because when you just sit to the status quo, you will suffer. So, like I just said that because of the way you mentioned it, just look at it and see how can I, if she's too much in your space, maybe you could communicate and tell her this and this time, blah, blah, blah. Just nicely. Because you also need her.
It also takes a level of self-awareness to know where you've gone wrong as an individual.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like I think one of the things that this season, even in my work with God, that I've realized is that there's so much pride in my heart. And you see, for you to actually humble yourself and actually say, I have gone wrong here.
Well,
it takes it's not easy. It's honestly not easy. And that's what I'm saying. Like I think even I'm just thinking about like couples who haven't been able to get through this season of parenting together, where have they gone wrong? Is this one part, it's both parties, like where have they gone wrong? Are there things in their heart that they weren't able to just honestly be honest with their partners and share? Like it takes a lot of humility for you to realize that. hapa nimekosea. And it's
Yeah.
not easy. We don't like, okay, me, I don't like, I'm not being told what to do.
Like saying I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It's like, no, you are wrong.
And especially because you're not doing something bad. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These kids need me, you know? But
Yeah.
now it's for, okay.
Yeah.
I think those ones the Holy Spirit had told me, what if you said sorry all the time, even when you're not wrong? Hey!
Upset.
Hey! I'm like, what? Why?
Necessary.
But even if he's wrong,
Yeah.
it's like the fact that you're just there, you're like, this guy is wrong. Me, I'm right. I know I'm right. Even the Holy Spirit, God knows I'm right.
Yeah.
But what if you saying sorry is what's going to bring your spouse down to like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
Like, what if you saying sorry is the one thing that will rekindle your connection? Because that's the one thing that I feel, especially in this stage of parenting, that you fight for is connection.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yes.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very
Where you're on the same page.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at the same direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes they'll choose to now focus on their work or projects. And you decide, let me focus on the kids. You think you're working on the same goal, but at the end you've gone, you've drifted.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, it's the right thing.
It's the right thing.
But it's the right thing. You're supposed to do that, but it's
You
and
have to look at it
especially
very
and especially in marriage, because it's not it's two people as one.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something without the blessing of my spouse, without the blessing of my partner, I'm just in the wrong order. Kabisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things that it's like, even how you mentioned separating the mom into the kids, then the husband has gone to work. It's like we immediately just fall back into sin. It's like, sasa nani ametuambia, like, because I'm the mom, that I'm solely the one who makes the big decisions with the kids. Like,
it's the natural thing God gave us.
Exactly.
But
but how we go about it is, I would honestly say it's wrong. And I've fallen into that trap. But like I said, last year, I lived, breathed, ate, dreamt my children. You know? And it's not a bad thing to have that nurturing aspect in us, but it's also one of those things where it's like, I didn't even trust my husband to do certain things because I was there.
It's something she talked
I
about.
could do it. Exactly. Yeah. It's so bad.
Even me. Oh my God. You know,
As recently as yesterday.
I don't trust you this kid.
That's actually what
You'll kill them.
I was like, guy.
no, for real. Yeah, even me, I've been there. Where we were actually in our marriage group. We have groups, right? And he was saying that he mentioned in front of everyone, he hadn't told me. He told me, he said that there are times when my wife lives with the kids, that's the most anxiety he feels. Like, leave alone job, leave alone projects at work and everything. It's when my wife lives with the kids. Because they'll be like, do they eat? Do they eat at the right time? Do they eat the right thing? Do they, And I mean, before you've left, you cooked everything, you've set everything, and I just caught myself and I was like, it should not be like this.
Yeah.
This is off. This is very off. Another thing that I've noticed in this whole walk of after children is tone. On especially when you're talking, because you've been talking to the kids a lot. Is the way you start even talking to your husband, like you don't get like, you're the back of my leader. Oh my God, again, it's all like, girl, what is this? What is this story? And on phone calls, there's a time you told me, babe, if someone would ever hear our conversation on loudspeaker, and it will be so sad because it's for Peter chemist. Come with paracetamol. Mukate, Ivo. Like, hakuna, hi babe, how are you? Time, hi. Please, here's a fever, and let's and it's become so transactional, mechanical, those bad things. And again, I started teaching myself again. Hi babe, just call it, find out how you're doing. For real, nothing is wrong. No. How are you? What do you want? What do you want? Just check on you and hear your voice. Oh, good, thanks. That day he'll come home at 4. Like, so early. Because it's just like, what is this? So I've been teaching that, and I'm still like really learning. I just call him randomly. Where are you now? I was like, maybe at the barber shop. Oh, okay. You're having a good time? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not doing Yeah, it's just so confused because normally it would be like, you should have been home now. You know. So God caught me again on tone. So I think that's another thing we us ladies could work on.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to take home that we're telling women or mothers that this is on their hands, this is on their, like this whole marriage thing. But I feel like when you pray, God works on you first,
Yeah,
right?
that's
He doesn't go to your spouse.
Yeah.
So you just start with what you can change. And then also God in his own way will also get to your husband so that when you're doing it together, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's more, it has more fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really just self-introspection is just like, okay, I think there's a way I'm snapping a lot.
Yeah.
But also peer husbands need to be very understanding. You know, the hormones, these things, they change you. Even you yourself, you don't even like you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially that part for postpartum, that period is just crazy. So for them to understand that actually this is not my ways. Sikutaka kwake.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because there are some guys, I know there are guys who actually watch us and is important. Wow. I when you said the checking yourself, I think for me I feel like that's one thing that God has been dealing with me, especially this year. How I deal with my anger. So I wouldn't say that I burst out. I don't know, babe. I don't think so. Oh, you'd have looked like this. I don't think I burst out in anger. But now for me, it had been bottling.
Yeah.
So I get pissed. So one day I just felt all this beauty. Hey, Kettle, how are you doing? And so I'm just like, yeah. So that day I was just so pissed. So I think it was just a bunch of things just piling. So I dreamt that I pasukad. And I'm like, oh Lord, oh God, there is so much anger. And I realized that there were so many things that I had not dealt with. From struggling to conceive, to conceiving, to losing Ed's mom and having to carry that emotionally, carrying this pregnancy and the anxiety of, for me, it was, will this baby stick? Because it was one thing after the other. And then he comes and then hospital visits. So all that, I realized I had not dealt with it. And one day I just sat on the ground and I just bawled. I just cried and cried and cried. I'm like, God, I'm angry. I'm angry at myself. I'm angry at you. I'm angry at my husband. And I don't even know why. At least for my husband, I don't know. Like that week, I had not even done anything. I was just upset. Hi, babe.
Just breathing. Why breathing like that? Inhaling.
Why has he spent 2 minutes with a child, not 30?
Yeah.
But it was just all that. And after that, after that bowling session, I had to have a board meeting myself. And I was even telling my help yesterday. I was telling her every day I sit down and I retrospect. And I ask myself, how did I handle all the situations of this day? Did I apply love? Was I angry? How did I act in my anger?
That's good.
And it's helped me. I can say it's helped me because when I'm upset now, I'll just sit back, go, listen to music, walk. I don't know, I'll find something to do.
Yeah.
And then try and analyze, why am I so upset? Is it something emotional? Is it being overwhelmed? And I realize most of the time, I'm angriest when I'm overwhelmed. And then I realized the past 2 weeks have also been adjustment for me because my son has gone to school.
Yeah.
So he's not there. There's drop-offs. No one tells you that school drop-offs are painful. Seeing your child crying and you can't even, the teacher told me, imagine, Mama Tando, you don't have to come to school. You can come pick him. It's okay. I had that in tears.
Yeah.
So, that was me. So I'm happy. So dealing with that, then I realized, so when I'm overwhelmed, I can easily get angry. And that will affect my relationship with my husband. So how do I deal with that? It's as simple as, today I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm feeling like I can easily get ticked off. Or sometimes when I don't know I'm upset, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Just give me time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that just reminded me how communication, and I've had this so many times, and it's still so relevant, how communication is such a key aspect in marriage.
Yes.
I mean, any relationship, it doesn't even with your mom, with your friends, it does with just relationships in general. But then what I'm reminded of is like how there are so many different styles of communication. So I know personally for me, if I'm upset, give me 48 hours. Like I cannot have a conversation because I'm such a feeler. So once I feel the emotion, I'm a toddler. It's fast. The only difference is I try to keep it contained, but even containing it internally doesn't mean it's a healthy thing. But like, I know that for a fact with my spouse and I, like if I am really upset, give me 48 hours. But I know one thing that my husband and I have made a rule of is we never go past a week without addressing it. It could be 24, 40, it doesn't matter, but a week will not end before we do it. It doesn't mean we'll solve it, but we'll talk about it. You know, it means it will be a constant topic of conversation until we get to the root of the issue. So for me, I know like once me emotional was mefika huku, aki tafadhali, please just give me alone time, because that's how I decompress and I'll come back to you. So I think finding a communication style, and it's different. For my husband, he's the opposite. He's like, let's address it. Let's talk about it now. And he knows very well, if we do that, kutenda pabaya, it will be bad. So I think with every marriage, every relationship, you have to know who you're talking to and how they will receive what you're trying to say. Because how they receive communication is very different from how you receive communication.
That's true.
So I think an aspect of rekindling your love is knowing knowing your spouse's or your partner's communication style. I think that's what's not talked about often. But where?
That communication thing is what I was talking about when I said the tone, because I hadn't realized that it was getting to him that, you know, every time I call him, it's just get this. Have you done this? Did you pay this? Did you go this? Did you, you know, and he would, you know, the way you see someone's phone call and you just, you know, and I'm like, no, that's the opposite of, I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to see my call and be like, hey, excuse me, I have to talk to this one, you know. I want you to get excited. I want you to feel good things inside your body when you see my phone call coming in. So communication is very good. You mentioned something and I wanted to talk about, because I think something we women, mothers, go through is the mental load. Motherhood, the mental load of, is this diaper reacting to their skin? Why is their skin looking like this? What is this rash? Shule, are they treating him well? Products, you know, mom guilt, all that. My marriage, is it okay? How's it? Have I paid her? You know, the mental load. Like, for example, now, next week we're going on vacation. We've planned this like a month in advance in Diani. Now it's flooding in Mombasa. So I've entered stress mode. And now people are wondering, why is this woman so stressed? And I'm just like, because now I'm doing all the calculation, will we be safe? Should we go? Should we cancel? Should I lose all that money? Or the flights? Or should I lose that money? You know, and I'm like, no, we'll go. So I'm just pleading with God, please change the weather for me. Please, you know. And my husband just asked me the other day, why are you looking so stressed out? And I just told him, it's this weather thing. And he's like, why do you think about such things? He is not concerned. One day it is like, we are going regardless. If we have to go there, we will go. You know, so he's just like, we are going. Like, even if we rent the hotel, we will go, you know. And just, you know, me now processing all that, it's taking a toll on me. I'm thinking, okay, do I have sunscreen? Do you have swimming diapers?
Oh my God.
You know, just the mental load. So when we had our last one, I remember that whole mental load thing was on me really badly. And I wrote timetable what to eat, but the nanny would still come back to me and be like, so you said we ate, you know, and I'm just like, Nobody talk to me.
Yeah.
If it's not there, what is there in the house? I'm sure there's unga for ugali. Just do you. Me, I don't even care. Whatever we eat, even if it's bread, me, don't ask me a question because of the pre-period, right?
Yeah.
So again, my husband again is like, how can I help? I told him I want you to just take the mental load off me, and it was like, what does it look like? Every communication with the household concerning shopping and burgers and everything, handle that. I gave him another, and by the end of the day, actually he didn't even do it for one day because he came back and told me some of these things. I'm the one actually who realized that God has given it to us as women because we are naturals. The whole, and we are the ones, some of us, not all women are the same, but in terms of running of the home and what meals, because if I left it up to him, I think they'd have takeout every day of the week because it's easier for him. It's whatever. Of course it's expensive, but I think he would just count his costs and be like, but me, I want organic foods for these children so that they are healthy, So that the mental load, I think sometimes once we are able to share that with the communication which Charlene was talking about, sharing the mental load, because it can be a lot. Just putting it on and mental load will affect how you look, how you're talking, how your mood, your demeanor, because of how heavy it is. So just sharing that and saying, I'm quite anxious about so for me now, the whole trip next week, I'm actually very anxious. So it would be nice if you just came in this way.
Exactly.
And for me, it's just an insurance thing. For him just tell me, boo, regardless of the weather, we will cuddle. Imagine cuddling in Diani. So, okay. Reassurance that regardless of the weather, we'll be fine. So, for me, my heart just rests now because some things are out of our control. I can't control the weather. He can't control the weather. So the more I stress about it, it won't even help me. So we are trusting God for sun, but also regardless, we'll still go, we'll still enjoy. So men the men who are watching and listening, you need to play your part, especially when it comes to reassuring. When you see your wife a bit anxious, concerned about her look, her body changes, all these things, reassure. Reassuring doesn't mean lie. It's just because it's not for life.
Next model.
No, this is my joy. But just reassuring. No, you look beautiful, boy. I like it. I just like the cups. I love them. They're mine. Just reassure her. And even when you see her stressed out about the kids, homework deadlines, things like that, just reassure her. Keep reassuring her. That's the secret, I think, to just this whole period of parenting.
It just made me realize how, this whole conversation from start till now, it just made me realize how selfish as individuals we can be, both mom and dad. We can be so self-centered on this is my issues, and now you immediately go into where the finger pointing, but you don't realize, I don't know, it's just humility. Going back to that again, it's just such a key aspect in communication, because once you realize your part to play in whatever is going on, your tone will be different. And this is even me speaking to myself. The tone will be different when I realize I have not done this, or I have done this that has played a role in this. And when God continues to work in us,
and I remembered a dear friend of mine had told me that there was once, I don't know if it was them. I think it was them that they had Kosanad. And God told him, when you come into my presence, there's no such thing as you are right, this one is wrong. If both of you come into my presence like that, both of you are wrong. Because the only thing that will stand in my presence when you're married is oneness.
Wow.
So if you're not one, it doesn't matter who did what. You're not walking in oneness. And I think, I don't know, my prayer is God, just help us walk in oneness, even in hard situations. And I've been telling myself that when I'm really upset, even with my hubby, I'm like, God, help me see him how you're seeing him now, because currently I'm seeing him as this person who's not done ABCD, or who's saying ABCD, who's thinking ABCD based on me. not you. And I keep, it's just a prayer that I've constantly been making over myself. Even my son, like, there was a Sunday where we're at church and he just decided that day. I just looked at him and I'm like, Lord, may he see the Jesus in me, because he's about to see David, the warrior. He's about to encounter the great warrior David. So help me. And I think even praying such, as a person, praying such prayers over yourself will help in changing your heart. Because I feel like if our hearts are malleable, then there are a lot of things that, even if, let's say, your marriage was on the rockiest rocks of rocks, the fact that your heart is malleable, God can use that to change your spouse. Because I keep thinking about how in the Bible, when God was saying that if you're married to an unbeliever, you still have to honor your husband and treat him kindly. So I'm like, if God says that, he wasn't, out of his mind. There's something in that kindness that can change everything. So
something I keep asking myself is, be it anxiety, depression, a fight, an argument, whatever it is, I always ask myself, is this worth my marriage? Like, is it really worth my marriage?
That's a very good question.
And a lot of the times, if not actually all of the time, it's just not. Nothing is worth, like, ending my marriage or causing friction in my marriage or tension. Like, whatever it is, my marriage comes first. And I remember we had a Zoom call with one of our followers, and I remember, I'm not going to share every detail, but I remember I ended up picking this small note that a few friends of ours wrote to us once I delivered. And in that note, it says, one of the lines was, it's God first, your marriage second, your kids third, and everything else follows afterwards. And I didn't really fully understand. And in some sense, I was like, there's no way. Like, you can't put an order. I understand the God first aspect, but you can't just put an order with things. So I wrestled with that for a really, really long time. And to some extent, I still do. But then the more I celebrate my anniversaries, the more I realize how we've gotten to another anniversary because we are fighting for our marriage. And because of that, our kids are seeing the ripple effect of love. So it's one of those aspects where I start to slowly kind of see how that note makes sense. Because there are certain situations where my husband and I had to say no to. There are certain relationships my husband and I had to say no to because they weren't fostering love. They were not bringing us together. They were causing division and friction. But it's, again, goes back to that note. And I was like, we are going to honor God. We are going to honor God. And one of the ways that requires honoring God means walking in selflessness and love. And because of that, we're able to come together in that unity. And we're able to love each other well. And our kids are able to see what a healthy marriage looks like. And everyone around us will feel it and see it. It doesn't mean it's perfect. Absolutely not. Not the message I'm trying to preach. No marriage is perfect. There's no such thing. I hate those things. But no marriage is perfect. You have to constantly wake up every day and say, I'm going to try and put a step forward. I'm going to, at least today, love on my spouse in this way, or do something small, or go out on a date, or anything. It takes fighting. And I remember describing to my husband when we were not doing so well. I was like, babe, our marriage is a garden. And I cannot remember the last time any one of us watered it. Like, weeds have grown, the flowers have dried up. Why are we not doing anything to water this garden? And as soon as I mentioned that, it's almost as if he also had a light bulb moment. And in that moment, we both repented and prayed. And that was the beginning of us watering our marriage. Because it's like, I don't know, it just takes a lot of work. Because I get those DMs on my Instagram, like, you guys are cute and perfect. I'm like, I hate that word perfect. I really do. Because what you don't see behind the scenes is how hard we are working to make sure that we are staying in our marriage. Like, the vows that we made before God and man is something that we want to see to completion. Till death, I literally have a tattoo, till death do us part. Like, my spouse is my ride or die. He's someone God has put in my life for a reason, and I think I describe my spouse as a piece of pizza. Like, I want to have the last bit of him. And that's the best part of a pizza.
Please give.
That's
sweet.
cute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very sweet.
Oh,
that's
so
very
nice.
sweet. I was going to add, even as we're just talking about marriages, I'm realizing that the fact that you're in I'd say all of us are in godly marriages.
Yes.
It has to take the work. Like, I think it's even 10 times more work than the fact that you're in a godly marriage.
Yes.
Even when you're not.
Yes.
Because you see, like, you have your spouse and Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, as in, it has to, this hard things, these seasons of trying to find each other, these seasons of the ups and downs of life, like, we have to go through them so that we are perfected in what God has desired for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just the aspect of communication, as you guys are speaking, I'm realizing that, it takes that's even in parenting and finding your marriage again in parenting, is that even your communication styles will have to change.
Yeah.
Like, they actually change. Like, if this is how you used to talk before, because now you have to think this person has a kid, like, the things that these things have to change, and especially that thing for tone, that thing for humility, like, those are things that they actually, you have to change that aspect. Like, if my spouse has grown, is going through a tough season, I have to be gentler with my words. I have to be kind. I have to see, and even just again, like, having the Holy Spirit is such an asset in your life and in your marriage, because he's the one who will be able to show you, hey, Apple, can you do this instead and do this instead? Like, that. These are things that will definitely change. Yeah.
And being receptive to hearing
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That is hard.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
When God works on it, it's usually like, it's so unfair. Like, me and these kids, God, There's a time I was just going through that whole resentment thing I mentioned, and had told him, I even told my husband, I do not like you right now because of just everything that was going on. And I was just so angry, and I'm like, I'm here with these kids. Him is out there. He doesn't even think about us. He of course thinking about us, but I was just looking at it from those eyes. And I told God, please help me. This thing is becoming too much. This one will mess us up. Help me so much. And God opened my eyes now. The scales fell off, and God was showing me, you have the nicest guy for a husband. You have the most, that guy will drop everything for you. I was not saying that because of my issues, my angers and all that. And God he came home that evening, my hubby, and he came home to a different woman. And he started even telling his friends, my wife has changed and it's a bit scary. He was telling one of his closest friends that, because, right now should have called me 10 times. And I was like, I know he's out there with a good intention. He's trying to close this deal. He's trying to do this, this. And he'd come home and be like, how did it go? Tell me. And he's like, babe, are you okay? Because he was expecting, tell me, how did it go? Tell me about it, So God helped me, and I was like, actually, this kid's a good man. And how do you do the good man? You shikilia him. You pull him close. And then that's when we decided for our vacation, like, Charlene, though you're saying you never left your kids. As we did. And that time my baby was 5 months. 6 months. Yeah. It was tough for me, but we needed that outing. And I remember I labeled it in my social media places. I said, this is I don't hear anybody calling me Mama Nani. Yeah, I'm a capacity as a girlfriend. Yeah, to wife. Okay, wife you call like any. Yeah, I'm the girl. We fell in love with. And you still talk about that vacation because I was there as the woman who drove this man crazy. The way I was dressing, the way I was talking. For a restaurant, I was just holding him like. And that man was going nuts. It was so nice. But it's so important for all of us to do that. God remove this shell, because life in Azakwebek through society, social media. It can make your husband diminish like this. If you have the wrong lenses. So it's for you to be very intentional about, God, open my eyes. Right now you might not be where you want to be, but don't put that man down. Encourage him. Speak life to him. Tell him, even if you'll be where I'm here with you. We are here together. Speak such words to him. You'll see him just blown.
It's true.
Those ones just change everything.
That's
I think also writing or remembering or speaking your vows to each other. I think that also helps.
I've actually never. I go to other weddings from people in a church and recite, but I've actually never done
Husband
it.
officiates wedding and I've never. It should be on your living room.
There's so much life in those vows.
It's actually
like when you're just sitting there with your husband, with your PJs or whatever it is, and you just hata ka uta Google, because I don't remember all the words I was saying. They're obviously on Google, but like just speaking those words to each other.
Because it's a covenant.
It's a covenant. It reminds you of that covenant. When that love is remember, I made a covenant and I'm here to stay. We're not going anywhere, baby.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's not an option. But you have that in your head.
It's so that I remember because I did the official name change and it took forever.
You've done
right?
it?
Let me tell you, it's taken so long. I'm still waiting for my. Hey, I started when I was pregnant.
When was that?
2021. Actually, we started 2021.
It's a long time.
Especially dropping like the first name. They're adding, like dropping your last name and then adding your husband's name. That one is easy.
Also, you're dropping your first
Actually,
name.
I dropped my first name.
I was about to say your first name.
Formally known, I finished. But mine, ours was because, so we started my friend. So I started, she got pregnant, gave birth, so we waited. Then I got pregnant, gave birth, and then she got pregnant again.
Okay.
And then now add government. You're like, you go, but let's say our government's changing, things are better. So
I was there yesterday, it's not changing.
Oh, yeah, you went to
My eyes are swollen.
sorry.
It's worse.
Yeah, it was terrible. I think, was it this year? My friend and I were just there praying. Just walking in the aisle, and I was like, Lord, may we break this stronghold. We had reached our end. Anyway, so when we finally finished, I looked at my husband like, by the way, you just not wachani. You see what I've gone through to get your lesson. Hatuachani. We are going to stay together until one of us dies.
Yes.
But yeah. So
I was going to touch on the topic of divorce, but I think that deserves its own episode because it's a heavy topic that you can't just say it in passing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, unless you guys have anything else, I think we can end there.
Parting shot.
Missing a parting shot.
Parting shot, I think, for women, especially if you're a new mom, it's not, let me not say it's easy. It's not easy. The transition is going to be hard on you personally and also for your marriage. Invite the Holy Spirit in that journey. Invite close friends that you can trust who can speak life to you when you're just down there. But it's not impossible. But also give yourself grace. Yeah. Your spouse should also give you grace. Give him grace because also this is a very new dynamic for him and you'll figure it out. And there's no manual that works across the platform.
That's true.
This works for my marriage, this won't work for kids. So just find out what really works for you. There are people who are completely comfortable with their husbands working very hard and them being at home. There are people who want their husbands to be super involved in their house. So communicate that. For me, I'm not very good with washing newborns. My babies are small because also mine are born preemie. So I just can't do it. But my husband is very good. So he knows bath time is his duty. He knows there are things he just knows. So communicate that. But when you first have a child, you wouldn't know that. But so it's also good to, for the first time now the baby is home, get to be present, especially the man. Get to be home so that you get to know what are you good at here, what is she good at. Yeah, because I think the problem that's happening is people are leaving that to the mom. Miss Jenny Natoi. Even her, she doesn't know. Like it's a husband there. Yeah. So please, let's be involved so that it makes the journey smoother. But there is hope. Marriages stand, marriages thrive. We just don't want to be married just for the sake of being married. We want to enjoy. We want to burn with passion. I want to be seeing him over there and be like, I want to be crazy about my husband. And it's possible.
It's very possible.
10 years later.
I feel like we're still like 1 year.
Oh, that's so sweet. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and feel free to share your comments down below. We'd love to hear your stories. And obviously, as you guys already do, DM us. Like, we'd love to hear more about your stories. Like, what can we do to encourage you through this journey?
Yeah.
Like, as Julie said, like, and we've all mentioned it, like, marriages go through transitions, especially when kids come. So, but it's not haitaisha hapo. Like, there's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And with that being said, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And like we always say, don't be stingy. Peace.
So much grace. So much grace. So much grace. So much grace.